This is the Qtv Nightly News, and I'm Jacqueline Coley. Thank you for joining us, and a reminder that you can also join us on Q Radio 103.3 FM. Here are the headlines. A federal court in Denver, Colorado in the USA has sentenced Gambian national Michael Sankoria to more than 67 years in prison for crimes of torture linked to the Gambia's failed 2006 coup. It is the first time a non-U.S. citizen has been convicted under America's torture law for acts committed abroad. A nationwide survey conducted by the National Human Rights Commission and partners reveals widespread frustration among victims of past human rights abuses. Another nationwide opinion poll, this time conducted by Gambia, participates in partnership with CEPRAS on the 2026 presidential election, shows disparity in gender dynamics, age and region on all the important questions captured by the survey. The Yaram Arts Festival, also known as the Gambia Cultural Weekend, officially opened on Friday night in the United Kingdom. It celebrates culture, heritage and diversity in a vibrant showcase of music, dance and tradition. And in international news, Qtv's Usman Jata is among the participants as the China International Press Community Center launches the second edition of its 2025 Media Exchange Program, welcoming over 100 journalists from more than 90 countries around the world. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Many thanks for joining us. Now, a federal court in Denver, Colorado in the USA has sentenced Gambian national Michael Sankoria to more than 67 years in prison for crimes of torture linked to the Gambia's failed 2006 coup. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, it is the first time a non-U.S. citizen has been convicted under America's torture law for acts committed abroad. Dulenjai has that story.
A former Gambian soldier has been given what amounts to a life sentence in the United States. Michael Sankoria, once a member of the Fiat Junglers unit, will spend 67.5 years in prison for his role in torturing detainees following the Gambia's failed coup in 2006. According to the U.S. Justice Department, Korea was convicted in April on one count of conspiracy to commit torture and 5 separate counts of torture. Senior District Judge Christine Aguelo handed down the sentence in Denver, describing the crime as severe and deliberate. The trial's progress was supported by the efforts of victims and Gambian civil society organizations. 11 victims and family members of victims traveled from the Gambia to Denver to testify and observe the proceedings. Victims gave harrowing testimony. According to Trial International, one man described how Korea burned his thigh with molten plastic. Another said he was suffocated with plastic bag until he nearly lost consciousness. Others spoke of beatings with wires, sticks, and the use of electric shocks. The abuses took place in Mile 2 prison and other sites after the March 2006 coup attempt. Korea was part of the Junglers, a paramilitary squad loyal to former President Yahya Jammeh, accused of carrying out torture, killings, disappearances in his 2 decades of authoritarian rule. Korea entered the United States in 2016 and was arrested 3 years later in Colorado. Human rights groups say his trial shows that the U.S. can prosecute torture committed abroad if the perpetrator is found on American soil under the Extraterritorial Torture Act. According to the Center for Justice and Accountability, this is only the 3rd time that the U.S. Torture Act has been used in court, and the first against a non-citizen. Survivors call the sentence a long-awaited victory. According to Trial International, they said the judgment finally recognized their sufferings and sends a message that, in quote, torture has consequences, even many years later, end of quote. Michael Sankoria begins serving his 810-month sentence more than 67 years. While Korea's conviction marks a historic step in holding perpetrators accountable, many Gambians say justice at home is still slow. A recent NHRC survey shows that 66% of the public remain dissatisfied with prosecutions of Jammeh-era abuses, particularly in regions like URR, WCR, CRR North, and GBA. Only CRR South shows majority satisfaction. This indicates that the majority of the population are skeptical about the government's commitment or capacity to ensure justice. But for survivors, the U.S. judgment offers recognition of their suffering. But for the nation, it underscores the urgent need to accelerate domestic justice efforts. The message is clear. Accountability is possible, but for lasting trust, Gambia must act. For QTV News, I am Juldenjai.
A nationwide survey conducted by the National Human Rights Commission and partners reveals widespread frustration among victims of past human rights abuses. Despite the establishment of Victims' Reparation Act and Commission, many survivors report that delays and limited support are undermining their trust in the process, according to the report. Duldenjai again.
A survey interviewing 746 victims across all regions of the Gambia found a very low satisfaction with the reparations process. Only 1% of respondents reported being very satisfied, while 19% were satisfied, 14% felt neutral, and the majority, 66%, expressed dissatisfaction, including 10% who said they were very dissatisfied. The survey also highlighted significant regional differences in satisfaction with the reparations process. This satisfaction was highest in the West Coast region at 64%, followed by the Lower River region at 62%, the Greater Banjul area at 58%, and the Upper River region at 59%. In the Central River region, responses were more mixed. 45% in the north were dissatisfied, while 49% reported being satisfied, and in the south, 49% expressed dissatisfaction. These findings suggest that while frustration is widespread, some communities perceive the reparations process as somewhat effective. Despite these concerns, the survey found that 67% of respondents believe the reparations process has focused on victims' needs, reflecting a generally positive perception of victim-centered justice. However, 15% disagreed and 18% were uncertain. Confidence in a victim-centered approach was strongest in Central River Region North, followed by Central River Region South, North Bank Region, and Lower River Region. Agreement was more moderate in the Upper River Region at 55% and lowest in the Greater Banjul area at 26% and West Coast Region at 51%. The Greater Banjul area also had the highest share of respondents who felt the process was not victim-focused at 42%, while the West Coast region recorded the highest proportion of don't know responses at 41%, highlighting uncertainty and the need for improved communication in these areas. Victims described the abuses they suffer under the former regime as devastating. The survey also explored what victims value most in reparations. Financial compensation was overwhelmingly prioritized, with 98% considering it the most important form of support. Other widely valued forms included medical assistance at 55%, education scholarships at 52%, and housing at 48%. Apologies were important for 42% of respondents, showing that symbolic gestures of acknowledgement mattered alongside material aid. Memorials and legal support were less emphasized, but still relevant for some groups. The Victims' Reparations Act of 2023 established a 7-member reparations commission requiring representation for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. However, the survey found that consultations with victims remained limited, leaving many survivors feeling sidelined and unheard. As the government continues the gradual implementation of the white paper recommendations, the survey sends a clear message. Reparations must be delivered quickly, fairly and transparently for transitional justice for genuinely serve victims and rebuild public trust. For QTV News, I am Julden Yai.
The nationwide opinion poll conducted by Gambia Participates in partnership with SAPRAS on 2026 presidential elections shows disparity in gender dynamics, age and region on all the important questions captured by the survey. In this analysis, Mamadou Gajaga delves into what the survey shows for the expected main contenders as well as for a coalition candidate.
The gender breakdown of support for President Barrow's potential 2026 candidacy revealed a clear lack of support among men and women, though the degree of rejection differs. Among women, 22% say they would not vote for him, while only 7% indicate support, and 8% remain undecided. For men, the rejection is even sharper, with 38% opposed, compared to just 12% in support, and 12% undecided. Amadou Kumare, the Monitoring and Evaluations Officer at Gambia Participates, gave an overview of the different aspects revealed by the survey.
The upcoming election in this circumstance is expected to be highly competitive, right? Leadership succession in major parties, coalition talks building up, and the rising of youth participations. So this survey initiated by Gambia Participates will try to fill in the gap of the information cycle where participants, all stakeholders can have data, evidence-based information to foster dialogue around the electoral process.
As to whether or not Ousainou Darboe, who was President Barrow's main opponent at the last election, should contest the 2026 presidential election, the survey suggests that Mr. Darboe faces widespread resistance to another presidential run, particularly among younger and middle-aged Gambians, while support among older voters is minimal, with the rejection outweighing support across every age group. Across local government areas, support for a coalition's potential success varied. For example, Kuntawul registered the highest confidence, with 53% of respondents believing such a coalition could win. Kerawan 44% and Janjanbureh 40% also expressed relatively high support. In Banjul, opinion was more evenly split, with 37% expressing confidence in a coalition and 38% unsure. Brikama and Basse exhibit similar levels of skepticism and optimism, while Kanifing showed the highest percentage of respondents, 41%, doubting the chances of a coalition. Mamadou Gajaga, QTV News.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we have some more national and international news stories. Do stay tuned and join us after the break. At Ajib Bank, we are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, quarrying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, passionate about your investment. We've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
Supersonics Islamic Insurance, the Gambia's first digital insurance provider, brings innovation, convenience, and Sharia compliance to your doorstep. We offer a wide range of general insurance services, ensuring peace of mind and protection for what matters most. Whether at home, on the go, or in business, experience the difference with Supersonics Islamic Insurance Company Limited. Contact us today, +220-5132-319, 5132-318, or 5132-315. Email us info@supersonicsinsurance.com or on our website www.supersonicsinsurance.com or visit us at Bega Plaza 56 Liberation Avenue, Banjul.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. The Yaram Arts Festival, also known as the Gambia Cultural Weekend, officially opened on Friday night in the United Kingdom. As QTV's Loliam Kama reports, the annual event brought together members of the Gambian diaspora and friends of the Gambia to celebrate culture, heritage, and diversity in a vibrant showcase of music, dance, and tradition.
Founded in 2010, Yaram Arts is a cultural initiative dedicated to preserving and promoting Gambian arts, culture, and heritage on the global stage. Over the years, it has grown from a small gathering featuring a few masquerades into a major annual cultural celebration in the UK, attracting Gambians from across the country and beyond. Festival founder Jock Malik Jeng explained that his inspiration for creating the Yaram Arts Festival stemmed from witnessing global cultural showcases such as London's iconic Notting Hill Carnival. He envisioned a similar platform where Gambians in the diaspora could celebrate their traditions and pass them on to younger generations. Adding that the festival is a reflection of who we are as a people and not just about entertainment, but about safeguarding our heritage, celebrating our identity through using culture as a tool for unity.
Well, kind of big as well, but it is definitely cultural. And as you have witnessed, you showcase a lot of different traditions. Whether it is a Creole tradition, whether it is a Yoruba tradition, a Fulani tradition, a Mandinka tradition, a Wolof tradition, and lots of different set of showcases. So today is more like just to celebrate culture and diversity and togetherness.
This year's Gambia Cultural Weekend 2025 opened with the highly anticipated Sabar or drum dance, a vibrant performance rooted in Mandinka, Wolof, and other Senegambian traditions. The Sabar serves as both entertainment and a cultural statement, symbolizing the shared heritage of Gambians and Senegalese communities while strengthening ties among diaspora families. Organized by Njog Malik Jeng and Ami Jaju, the event has become one of the most significant cultural gatherings for Gambians living abroad. Attendees came from across the UK and Europe to participate in 3 days of festivities, which included traditional masquerade displays, live music, and dance. Despite its growth, Mr. Jeng acknowledged that organizing the festival each year comes with trials. However, he expressed a deep appreciation for the individuals and institutions whose support has kept the festival alive and thriving.
We need more sort of support really, but I'm happy that in terms of Gambia, at least now we have this collaboration with GT board and how to call them and ITC.
Lead organizer Ami Jaju echoed these sentiments, emphasizing that Yaram Arts Festival is not only a celebration but also a movement to preserve cultural heritage and strengthen community bonds. Several attendees shared their pride in witnessing their culture represented in such a dynamic way abroad. By elevating cultural traditions, incorporating native languages in performances, and offering a space for storytelling and art, the Yaram Arts Festival continues to highlight the powerful role of culture as a living language that drives identity, connection, and sustainable development. Reporting for QTV News from London, United Kingdom, I am Lolly M. Kamara.
On Friday, the Ministry of Interior appeared before the Mansakunda Ministerial Town Hall to discuss the activities of the various departments within the ministry. Mam Nabuka has the rest of that story.
The Gambia's Ministry of Interior is responsible for maintaining internal security and public safety through various departments and agencies, including the police force, the prison service, the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the Fire and Rescue Service, and the Immigration Department. Its core mission is to foster a peaceful and stable environment through managing immigration, preventing crime, safeguarding life and property, handling disasters, and ensuring the secure custody and rehabilitation of prisoners. On Friday, the leaders of the departments within the ministry attended the Mansakunda Ministerial Town Hall to discuss their functions and address questions from Gambian citizens regarding their performance. Abdoulaye Sanyang, the Minister of Interior, was asked to shed light on his main priorities for enhancing national security.
Gambia, there is no proper training institutions. That's why we are emphasizing having this law enforcement academy that will be cross-cutting for all the agencies. I think we have a very stable country. And then peace and security, and then crime is at its minimum that is still manageable. There is a need to improve, and we are doing that. And we are making sure that the Gambia remain peaceful and stable.
A question was directed to Ibrahim Mboub, the Director General of the Immigration Department, concerning the increase in passport application fees and the delays in issuing passports and IDs. The Minister of Interior responded in his stead, stating that the matter was a policy issue, not an operational one.
It's a PPP project. We should have increased the price since 2023. Government was losing money, but now that it's 2025, we must increase. There is no issue of ID card or driving license. Currently, we have zero in the row as far as printing is concerned. All these ID cards and driving licenses are printed and they are there, uncollected.
The Gambia Fire and Rescue Service was approached about what was being done to strengthen their presence in Bara. Minister Sanyang swooped in again to clarify ongoing plans.
We are building a fire station at the sea rescue station in Bara. It will be one of the best, the first time in Africa. I think the construction will start very soon.
Concerns were raised regarding measures being taken to decongest prison cells in the Gambia, which the minister addressed.
We are trying to work in. That's why we are even coming now with the new correctional center. Inshallah, if everything goes as planned, we will do the foundation stone maybe in the next 3 months. I think we are doing the correctional center at Birkama Nyamikala, Kembuje. Government has already allocated the land for us. So next week, I think we'll be there with the construction company, and then we'll start constructing it.
The town hall concluded with the ministry reaffirming its commitment to continue making the safety and security of Gambian citizens a top priority. Mam Nabuka, reporting for QTV News.
Now for some international news. The China International Press Community Center has launched the second edition of its 2025 Media Exchange Program, welcoming over 100 journalists from more than 90 countries around the world. This initiative offers foreign journalists the opportunity to explore China's rapid development, gain insight into its media landscape, and foster cross-cultural understanding. QTV's Usman Jata, who is currently participating in the 4-month media exchange program in China, reports on the experience.
As the world's second-largest economy, China's global influence continues to grow with the focus on sustainable development and economic prosperity. China is actively sharing its experience to assist developing nations, particularly in Africa and other emerging regions, in building a brighter future. In 2014, the CIPCC launched its inaugural media exchange program to bridge the gap between international journalists and Chinese society. Since its inception, the program has trained over 700 journalists from more than 100 countries, producing thousands of reports that provide global audiences with a deeper understanding of contemporary China. At the orientation of the second cohort for the 2025 program, Yao Baiki, a senior CIPCC assistant, highlighted the importance of this exchange in fostering global awareness about China's social, political, and economic advancements.
In these 4 months, you will gain deeper insight into China's truth, its socialism with Chinese characteristics, the transformative power of AI, the vision behind the Belt and Road Initiative, and the role of dialogue in times of geopolitical tension. You will learn, you will reflect, and you will grow.
Initiated by the China Public Diplomacy Association (CPDA), the CIPCC's Media Exchange Program serves as a platform for meaningful cooperation between Chinese and international media organizations. Journalists from emerging markets and developing economies are given an opportunity to engage directly with Chinese society, gain in-depth knowledge of the country's progress, and share their insights with global audiences. Yu Lei is a director of the CIPCC.
Our objective is to invite as more as we can the journalists from all kinds of developing countries in the world to come to China to know how real image of China is.
In an era increasingly dominated by misinformation and fake news, journalists are seen as the ambassadors of truth. Through seminars, workshops, and outreach programs, participants will gain first-hand knowledge of China's development model, media practices, and cultural heritage. The program will also provide participants unique opportunities to attend major domestic, international, and diplomatic events in China, offering them a deeper understanding of the country's political systems and the role of Chinese citizens in shaping national policy. Abubakar Ba, a participant from Sierra Leone, spoke about his anticipation of the program.
China is a great experience, it's a great country. You can come to learn about different culture and tradition. I think that I have to focus to know the balancing and also the structure about the Chinese media.
As part of the program, participants will also undertake internships at prominent Chinese media organizations, including China Global Television Network (CGTN), allowing them to improve their journalistic skills and immerse themselves in China's dynamic and ever-expanding media environment. Osman Jata, QTV News, Beijing, China.
And before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. A federal court in Denver, Colorado in the USA has sentenced Gambian national Michael Sankoria to more than 67 years in prison for crimes of torture linked to the Gambia's failed 2006 coup. It is the first time a non-U.S. citizen has been convicted under America's torture law for acts committed abroad. A nationwide survey conducted by the National Human Rights Commission and partners reveals widespread frustration among victims of past human rights abuses. Another nationwide opinion poll, this time conducted by Gambia Participates in partnership with CEPRAS on the 2026 presidential elections, shows disparity in gender dynamics, age, and region on all important questions captured by the survey. The Yaram Arts Festival, also known as the Gambia Cultural Weekend, officially opened on Friday night in the United Kingdom. It celebrates culture, heritage, and diversity in a vibrant showcase of music, dance, and tradition. And in international news, QTV's Usman Jata is among the participants as the China International Press Community Center launches the second edition of its 2025 Media Exchange Program, welcoming 100 journalists from more than 90 countries around the world. That's all for this news bulletin. Join us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Weekend Review with Ade Darame and Mamadou Mbouch, with Lamin D. Sanko doing the sign language interpretation. Thanks for watching and bye.